What is up, Tampa Bay? We are rocking right into it tonight. Excited to be with y'all. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're glad to have you here. We're going to talk about all things Tampa Bay, what's happening in and around town, and there's a lot to discuss in terms of development. I am joined by my incredible co-host this evening, Miss Madison Cruz down in St. Petersburg, Florida. What's up, Madison?
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Excited to be here with you guys.
And of course, we are excited to share the seat with Madison tonight. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff happening in and around town. We got a lot of news regarding what is happening in and around town here in Tampa Bay. And I know you guys want to get into it. We're going to cover some of these things here tonight, just to give you a little bit of a preview. The Tampa Bay Rays have officially sold. I know that, like, if you don't live here, you don't know what a huge stress in conversations, and most people over the last 25 years, when you talk about this, they basically just don't want to even talk about it anymore because they never believed anything was going to happen, but it actually has happened. And not only that, these guys are right on the horse in terms of development. Where's a new stadium going to go? We're going to talk a lot about that, because not only this looks like a better deal for the area. And I'm going to explain what I mean here in a second, because it looks like we could potentially lose the deal in St. Petersburg, gain a deal in Tampa proper, but also we've got an incredible offer from investors on the actual gas plant property where the Tropicana field sits right now. So we're going to get into the weeds of that. We've got Target XL opening this week. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about all things Tampa Bay, but most importantly, we are going to talk to you, the community. Here's what I want you to know. We try to make this a communal conversation. We welcome you. We want this to be engaging for you. If you have questions about the area, don't hesitate to put those in the chat in the conversation. You'd be amazed. Not only do we like to answer those questions live, but the community loves to answer those too. And we've got great support here. We've had people here from the beginning. We got Kevin over in Lakeland. What is up, Kevin? Good to see you tonight, sir.
Hi, Kevin.
Yep. And shout out to Kevin. He says we were supposed to switch into our dry season. Some of us outdoor workers need a break from the rain. You ain't kidding, man. I saw those temperatures this weekend. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited. I don't know if they're here to stay. We'll talk about that tonight too, for sure. We got Carol. What's up, Carol? Good evening. Good to see you. Heck yeah. We've got Vlad the man. What's up? Good to see you, sir, down in Parish there. Also, if you need a great tile guy, I may know somebody. His name might be Vlad, FYI. You guys need to know it. We got him. Carl's in the house. Good evening, Carl. Good to see you, sir.
Hi, Carl.
Absolutely. Good to be with you. And y'all, just if you've never met us before, we talk about all things Tampa Bay. Miss Madison, myself, Stacy, Ashley, Eric, my wife, Kate. We have a incredible real estate team here called the True Living Group. And this year, we're going to help over 100 families relocate to the area here. And it's been an incredible ride. The last 4 years, YouTube has changed our lives. So if you have questions about the area, if you're watching this from somewhere else in the future, maybe you're watching this on YouTube later or Facebook or wherever it is, don't hesitate to ask questions or reach out. Our contact information is right there on the screen. Happy to get into that conversation with you. Love helping people out. And if you look down below in the description, you'll even see a link to our calendar. Or you can do the fancy thing that we just figured out that we can do. You can just pull out your phone right now on that big old screen you got in front of you right there. Click that. It'll take you right to our website, and you can talk to Miss Madison herself. So excited to do that. But Madison, let's get in the weeds on what we got going on here locally, because the news just kept coming today. Right. I was reading this weekend, obviously we had the announcement of the Rays being sold for almost $2 billion. Y'all, it was like $1.7 billion. That's a staggering amount of money. I can't wrap my mind out around it. Right. We're talking about hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Just wild. Wild. But, for the most part, the average person, the local person here in Tampa or St. Pete, we don't really care. What we care about is how is this going to affect our lives, right? And yeah. I don't think I'm any different than most people when we look at that, especially, being here. This will be our 7th anniversary. We're going to celebrate that on December 9th. I think we took possession of our home, y'all, of 2018. Goodness gracious, it feels like it's been forever, even though I know it has not. And since that time of us moving here, it has been nothing but nonstop chatter about, are the Rays going to get sold? Are we building a new stadium? All these other things. And if you don't know, Our stadium was damaged pretty bad during Hurricane Milton last year, which we're about to come up on the anniversary of. And yes, I have trauma because Kate and I were making part of the video today that we're going to share with you guys this weekend about what our house looks like and what our life looks like 1 year after Hurricane Milton. I'll tell you one thing. I don't have an RV parked in my front yard anymore, and that's exciting. And my son says that we no longer live in a cupboard. So that is also exciting news, right? But when it comes to the team here, the stadium was heavily damaged. They've been playing at Steinbrenner Field in downtown Tampa, well, just north of downtown Tampa, right by the Buccaneer Stadium there, the Ray J, and right next to Hillsborough Community College. So it's a cool little area there off of Dale Marbury, but we'll get into the weeds on that. And I think this is important to kind of get through this. So here's what I want to share with you guys. I want to pull up the article right now and kind of work through this here. Here's what's going on. And this is the part that gets me excited, because if you've never been to the area they're talking about, it's an experience. So let me get into this. The new Rays owners envision a 100-acre mixed-use stadium development like Atlanta's Battery. Okay. And Atlanta's Battery, and I'm going to show you guys here some photos real quick so you guys can kind of get a sense of like, what are we talking about here? So the stadium is much more of a district. When you hear Atlanta Battery, that's really what they're talking about. So let me pull up some images on Google here. You'll get a little bit of an insight from this photo on what the area actually looks like. Oh, we lost it. A huge mixed event space. Okay. So like, let me jump over to Instagram. That'll probably be helpful. All right. The stadium itself. Have you been there, Madison?
To Atlanta? No.
Okay. If any of you have ever been to Truist Ballpark there, let us know in the chat. Let us know your experience. Let us know what you think about that, because this is their vision for what's going to happen here in Tampa. And I'm super excited about it. Now, what it reminds me of, if I had to describe it, Madison, for locals, it's like if they took Armature Works and the surrounding developments, the condos and everything that they got around there, and they dropped the ballpark next to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Super fun.
Yeah. So you've got shopping and they do outdoor events. They've got a movie series, just like at Armature Works. We do movies in the holidays there. There's a whole movie series in the fall, which I love. We took the kid to see Elf there. Awesome experience. They set up a candy shack, and you got to do popcorn and candy and almost like a drive-in. And it was an awesome experience. But they do everything out there, from yoga. You've got multiple restaurants. We went to a restaurant out there called El Felix, and it was absolutely incredible. Did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Was a big fan of it. But the Battery itself has everything from events, restaurants, places where you get hotels, apartments, condos. Everything under the sun is at this event space. And the vision for what this is going to look like is this is what their goal is for the new ownership. So I wanted to start there and show you guys some images when I talk about this. But here's what they said. In the Tampa Bay Business Journal said, the new owners of the Tampa Bay Rays envision a 100 mixed acre use district similar to the Battery, the home of the Atlanta Braves. Where that development might land in Tampa Bay and how much it will be publicly funded remains to be seen. I highlighted that for a reason. The Rays co-chairperson, Patrick Zalupski, who is one of the lead dogs over there who made the purchase, who led the investor group, paid a reported $1.7 billion for the team on September 30th. What a staggering number. Made his first public appearance on Tuesday in a news conference at Steinbrenner Field. Ken Babby, Rays CEO, and Bill Cosgrove, Rays co-chairperson, joined Zalupski at the news conference. Now I get in the weeds here a little bit. Our goal is to have a world-class ballpark ready for opening day on 2029. That's a lot. That's soon.
Yeah.
Right. That's really soon. So he said, we acknowledge this is aggressive and perhaps audacious. Time is of the essence. The ballpark will anchor a best-in-class mixed-use development of likely at least 100 acres. That's a big statement. Yeah. 100 acres is not easy to come by anywhere in Tampa Bay.
No, not at all.
No, that's crazy. So the ballpark would anchor, at least 100 acres containing hotels, office, retail, restaurant, bars, and music venues, which I think is great. Very similar to the Battery. We believe this development will generate revenue needed for long-term sustainability and success. This, in turn, will create jobs for the community, supporting economic growth and opportunity in the region. This is the common statement that all owners make when they start talking about building new stadiums and they start asking local municipalities for money, right? Nothing new on that one. The news conference was attended by Tampa Mayor Jane Castor and St. Petersburg Mayor Ken Welch. Of course, he's got some interest in this, right? Both of whom had worked with the previous Rays ownership group on different iterations of the failed stadium deals. And this is what we're talking about. And this is what Zalupski says. He says, we're very aware and in touch with the fatigue around the issue over the last 21 years, right? So like, there's been a lot of challenges, y'all, for those of you who aren't local. We know that fatigue is real, and we know we have a lot of work to do ahead of us. Zalupski said the team doesn't have a timeline for a proposal, and the site and the said site selection efforts will balance the quality of the location and the amount of land. While his lieutenants did not meet with the elected officials prior to the sale closing, he said that they have spent time with the Braves leadership to discuss economics of the Battery. So they went right to the source in Atlanta there, talked to the squad, the ownership group. Hey, what would you do different? And this is where I think this gets really interesting and is extremely exciting to me as someone who lives in the area, because I would love to have an incredible ballpark experience. And y'all, there's something unique about the Trop. First of all, it is a terrible baseball experience, but the surrounding area is, I mean, it's St. Pete. It's hard to have a bad time in St. Pete. So like, it's nice, but having been to the Battery, man, that would be a cool experience. So love what he says here. He says the Atlanta Braves have been incredibly generous with their time, resources to let us look at the Battery, Zalupski said. We think the Battery is the gold standard as to what we want to build and develop here in Tampa Bay. While the Rays executives did not divulge specifics of their ask for public money, Babby hinted heavily that the project will not be entirely privately funded. So they're going to ask for some money, of course. The public-private partnership has to be a win for the community and a win for the team, Babby said. And we'll come forward doing our part, but we'll need the partnership of the community to be able to make this work. And ultimately, we will be a public-private partnership that's going to add jobs and deliver value. In the meantime, the new leadership team said that they plan to invest in Tropicana Field so that the embattled stadium is ready for opening day in 2026. So that is excellent news for anybody wondering whether we're going to get back in that stadium or not. The city of St. Petersburg has spent they're way over budget now. I didn't even pull the budget numbers because last I heard they were up over $50 million to fix the stadium just to get back in it. So we'll see about that. Those investments include new video boards, a new sound system, and of course, a new roof that everybody's looking forward to, Babby said. Hurricane Milton tore through Tampa Bay in October 2024, shredding the Trop's roof and forcing them to play home games at Steinbrenner Field for the 25 season while repairs were underway. We're going to do our part to be able to stand up and celebrate homecoming next spring. So great news. Looks like everything is on pace. I've been down there. Obviously, that's Madison's backyard. Tropicana Field is about 25 minutes from my house, y'all. I love coming down 275 and coming around the corner there at 375 and seeing the new roof going on. It's awesome. Makes me feel great. The sun's coming up. Usually you're like, oh, this is the best feeling in the world. That's exciting news. Now, I want to get into, there's another part to the story, right? So this was today's news that dropped on this. And, there's been more conversation recently with the potential land deal for this, Madison. And this is important. So this is in addition to what I just shared with you guys. So where could this new stadium potentially go? We've already had multiple sources say that this, could potentially be Ybor Harbor. It could be in the city of Ybor. I haven't heard anything about it staying in St. Pete. So I think that's out of the question here. They really are trying to get the ballpark back to the city. And I'm excited to see that. Derek's got a comment here. So let me jump in here and take this comment. Back home in St. Louis, the Cardinals have a similar thing called the Ballpark Village. I've been to the Ballpark Village there. You're right. It is excellent. It's not quite as compact. Things are more vertical at Battery if you've been there, Derek. but definitely that feeling vibe. I'm with you. Cardinals experience is great. I went to Anheuser-Busch when I used to work back in the beer business, and we got to spend time down there and see the Tigers play the Cardinals, which was awesome. Pretty cool since it's open year round and not just during baseball season. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so here's what's going on. The potential Rays redevelopment is good for us too. HCC, that stands for Hillsborough Community College's board chairman. So this just came out, right? When is the timetable on this? October 7th. So this is today at 4 p.m. This article got launched. So these guys just talking about 100 acres, which in my mind, I was like, there's not 100 acres in Ybor City. There's not 100 acres in Ybor Harbor. Where in the heck is they going to get this 100 acres from? Well, the new owners of the Tampa Bay Rays are considering Hillsborough Community College over on North Dale Maybury Highway campus as a potential stadium site. Now, like I was saying, guys, directly across the street here, you're going to have the Ray J, where the Buccaneers play, right? If this is the site, just north of it is Steinbrenner Field, where the Yankees play spring training. This is a great spot, just north of 275, literally minutes away from the highway. You've already got incredible food and culture down in that area. Shout out to the brisket shop over in West Tampa there. Minutes from downtown. Dude, it is awesome. This location is killer, all right? Rays co-chair Patrick Zalupski again addressed the media for the first time on Tuesday, revealing the new ownership group envisions a stadium anchored. The whole article we just went through. But here's what he said. We think it's likely, as I said, 100+ acres. And this is where I wanted to get in this article. Zalupski said, if you ask the Braves, they'll tell you that the one thing that they would do differently is they would say, buy more land, and more land. They now own over 100 acres. So
wow,
in their mind, they're trying to go big and strong right out of the rip. And I'll pull up the map here in a second to give you guys some context. I know this photo is a little bit small. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger, Madison. There we go. Just to kind of give you guys some insights. Well, it just so happens that there is approximately 100 acres here that could be chalked up here. So this is the Hillsborough Community College plot. You can see Steinbrenner Field over here where the Yankees play. It's right off of Dale Maybury. This is as soon as you come out of the ballpark, you make a right. And let me see here. This is Raymond James Stadium over on this side. And as you come down here, the highway is like right down here. Right. If I was drawing it up, just so you guys can kind of get perspective on location on that. So it's an excellent location in terms of accessibility for those who have to drive over the bridge because no one wants to. Either way, I think this is a good compromise. Few properties floated as potential Rays sites are that size, exactly what we were talking about. One of them does meet the criteria, and that's HCC's Dale Maybury campus, which is adjacent to Steinbrenner Field, New York Yankee spring training facility. And then across the road, you've got the Raymond James facility as well, like we were talking about. They have engaged us, and we know we're one of the locations they're looking at, said Greg Celestin, the chairperson of the HCC Board of Trustees. Hillsborough County Commissioner Ken Hagan floated HCC's real estate as a potential site for the Rays in the weeks before Zalupski's group closed the sale. It offers, again, the opportunity to do ancillary development in that location, Hagan told Fox 13 on September 9th. So I think for many reasons, it's a prime location. HCC conversations with the Rays have been limited to initial discussions, which means we don't have a whole lot to stand on there. And there's no formal proposal for the property, but those early discussions, HCC Dale Maybury campus would be part of the redevelopment. We're excited by it, Celestian said. We feel like it would be a great location for the Rays and a good deal for us too. We would get some new infrastructure out of it. A lot of buildings on Dale Maybury campus were built in the 60s. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff is really well worn, is the word that I would use. I'm sure the students would call it something different, but we're going to call it well worn. And a spokesperson for the Ray did not immediately weren't available for comment. So this is, y'all, I'm telling you right now, let me pull up the map so we can kind of like take a peek at this, just so you guys can get perspective on the land and where this actually is. So if I zoom out just a touch here, just to back out enough where we actually are, start drawing over this thing. Let me see what we got. Okay, so this is Tampa International Airport. You would literally fly in head head west and be at the ballpark. Like it is literally right, or head east and be right at the ballpark. This is a fantastic location. Okay, right across the street here is Ray J. That's what this first little box is. Let me zoom in a little bit more, Madison. Now that you guys can see the bay, but let me just zoom out real quick. You can see Dale Mayberry goes from South Tampa all the way up Lutz, Wesley Chapel, those areas before it turns into another road. You're right off the bay there, right north of downtown, and just west of the river, as you guys can see there in Tampa and West Tampa. But as we start to zoom in on this, it'll give you some insights on what's going on. You've got a private, like down here off of West Shore. What we typically do is when we pick up family or whatever, we'll go down here. There's a World of Beer and a couple other really cool restaurants right by the highway, which are really convenient. As you come over here, you've got all kinds of stuff down here. Ocean Prime, Cheesecake Factory, the Renaissance Tampa is there. There's hotels. This is a business district that's right there as well before you come out the Dale Mayberry. And then as you guys can see here, you've got some training facility property there. That's another spot. You got the Raymond James here, and then Hillsborough Community College would be directly across the street. So I know I'm talking a lot, but this is one of those things that absolutely excites me as a sports fan, as someone who cares about the quality infrastructure, you know, the things that are coming to our city and the amount of developments going on, y'all, right now. Like, we're going to get into St. Pete here in a minute. We've talked about this, right? We've got like 18 cranes in the air currently. You know, if you need a place at the Waldorf Astoria, they're still available. Penthouses have already been sold, like we talked about before, but like these luxury high rises are popping up everywhere, which is very attractive. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but we also have some other exciting development. But I just want to kind of peel back for a second. The thing about stadium districts like this, you know, when I was a kid, and I'm gonna take you guys to the Wayback Machine, back to, you know, 1980s when I was just a little guy in Detroit, and the Tigers were having success. I remember the 84 ball club, and I remember what that meant to the city. And at that point, you know, that area of Detroit was rough. I mean, like you only went down to Michigan and Trumbull and then you left, right? Like there wasn't a whole lot of anything to do down there. And Detroit's had a big revitalization, but it's nowhere near the scale or the depth of a Battery Park in a Battery in Atlanta, or St. Louis as an example. When they rebuilt Comerica and then Ford Field got added down there, that stadium district exploded. And now if you go to downtown Detroit and you go to a Lions game or a Tigers game or a Red Wings or a Pistons game, between there are so many things to do, concerts and restaurants and bars and like just places to hang out with the family. Like it's gotten amazing. And to have that type of development, I saw what it did for my city firsthand, being here in Tampa Bay and getting a chance to see that go from ground zero. That really excites me, you know? So Madison, I mean, being able to take friends to a ball game, it's always fun. And we're spoiled, y'all. We got like, you know, Clearwater's, you can go see a Clearwater's Threshers game at any point, but the Phillies come into town. Tigers are over in Lakeland, so it's an hour and 15-minute drive. You can go down to Sarasota or Bradenton, like to see a ball game. You can go see the Braves down in Sarasota. You can see the Pirates in Bradenton. And we've got the Phillies here. 20 minutes north of me in Dunedin, I can go see the Blue Jays play.
Yeah.
During spring. So spring is always an awesome time, but like having a great ballpark and more importantly, a great community experience is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. So I know I got tangent on this, y'all, but man, what an exciting time to like look at what's happening here in the area, because there is so much development. Right. And Madison, I know you got, she's got the same article that I was going to share for 2 weeks in a row. So tells you where our head is, right? Both of us being Pinellas County residents and just loving to see what's going on. And like I said, I think that if this deal was to potentially happen, what I seen today that could potentially take place in St. Pete, that got me even more excited. All right. So like, talk to me about what you saw down there, and y'all tell us if you've ever been, like, if you're watching this later, let us know if you've ever been to the Battery up in Atlanta there, been to that ballpark, or, you know, you've ever been to one of those ballpark experiences, because they're just absolutely incredible in my mind. So we'd love to know that. But yeah, what do we got going on down in St. Pete, Madison? I'm excited to talk about this.
Yes. So in St. Pete, we have a proposal of a 6.8 billion redevelopment for the Tropicana site. So
I just want to stop for a second, because the irony of what we're talking about here. So we just went from 1.7 billion, right?
To 6.8.
6.8. And I was like, did I read that right? Because it was early in the morning. I'm like, I can't be reading this number correctly.
Yeah. When I seen it, I was shocked too. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah. But this is this project is incredible. So go ahead. Take it away.
Yes. So the length of this project is going to be in 4 different phases over 17 years, which is wild to think about.
Look at that.
And there's going to private ownership of 53.5 acres that it's going to be privately held. Remainder for public parks, open spaces, and cultural uses. The vision and the economic impact. So the overall goal is to create a mixed use innovation district, combining housing, culture, and technology. And the projected impact is 1.2 billion annual for economic output, 28 billion over 30 years, and 19,738 jobs total.
Wow.
I could go on, but let's just digest that.
Yeah, I want to talk about who the investors are here, because I'm going to share some things with you guys personally and just kind of walk you through this. But like the size of this thing is massive, right? So like that, I'll show you the developments, the phases that she's talking about here in a second, because this article is so big, right? 17 years is what it said, projected to be built over the phases of 17 years. And I know when you hear that, you're like, that's never ending, nonsense. But like, if you can get something off the ground like that, this is the kind of stuff that absolutely changes things that are happening in cities.
For sure.
Now, what you're looking at here is 275. So on the outside here, what you guys see here, this is Highway 275. So that goes all the way back up through over Tampa Bay into Tampa. And if you head north, it'll take you up to 75. If you head south, it eventually get back to 75 as well. But that's what you see here. And on the south side, this is 175. So as you come down here, this goes down to John Hopkins, All Children's Hospital. Great area down there. The neighborhood's just south of there, Rozier Park. This is an area, y'all, that, people ask us about living in St. Pete. We, when you look at the crime statistics south of here, it's not very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to share that with you guys objectively, but things like this are the type of things that really make an impact on cities, right?
Yeah.
Their redevelopment and the growth around it, because it brings, quality. Like, these are going to bring jobs. And the designation here is to get to a point where this is actually producing income. Now, I want to get into this a little bit, because this is almost 100 acres as well. This is why this is pertinent in terms of this conversation, because the availability of land here is possible. But here's what I want to mention. The investment group here. This was the group submitted a 98-page unsolicited proposal to the city of St. Petersburg. This wasn't the city going out and begging people to throw fake offers on the table. This was an outside investment group going, you're about to have a vacancy, and we find this area very attractive. So much so that we're willing to invest allegedly $6.8 billion over the next 17 years of development here and beyond, which I think is huge. But I want to read these people here. So it's Casey Ellison, the CEO of Ellison Companies, Kathy Wood. I'll talk to the founder of the global investment firm ARK Investments. I personally invest in ARK. She's an incredible human being. If you don't know who she is, jump on YouTube, type in Kathy Wood, and listen to that lady talk about where the puck is going in terms of technology. And if you watch her talk about technology, and trust me, I know it's going to be a lot of nerd out about finances and money and where things are going. But if you listen to her speak about how bullish she is about where technology is going, where AI is going, when you start to put that together with, they want to invest, $7 billion here, and that's where her vision is, y'all. pay attention. Pay attention. Oh man, I'm so excited about it. And lastly, Jonathan Graham, president of the Horace Construction, behind the effort. Baker Barrios would serve as the master planned architect for it, right? So they submitted a 98-page unsolicited proposal to the city of St. Petersburg this morning, outlining a $6.8 billion vision for a new mixed-use district anchored by innovation, housing, cultural institution, and world-class event venues. So let me pull down to this is the boundary of the gas plant district now. And then here's the phases, how they have them allegedly planned. You guys know, if you know anything about construction or planning, it's bound to change 400 times.
Yep.
So I want to be very cautious about what it is. So allegedly, this is the plan. Anybody that's watching this later, you can see phase 1 down here. And then you can see phase 2, phase 2B. They've got all these plans here. Phase 3, they're all over the place, y'all. So bunch of different phases to grow this out. I know this map's really hard to see, but we're going to put all of these resources, the links to these resources, in the description below on YouTube. And then also I'll drop some in the comments as we get rocking and rolling here. But I just wanted to get into some of the nitty gritty on this. It calls for a 500,000 square foot innovation hub and lab, a 200,000 square foot innovation hall for global conferences, which would be awesome, y'all. I would love to steal some of that Orlando conference business over here in St. Pete.
Yeah.
Right. That would be awesome. Public infrastructure are projected at $239 million, funded through multiple sources. For comparison, the city of St. Petersburg has pledged $142 million for infrastructure support for the previous Ray's Hines proposal. According to the submission, the project could generate $1.2 billion, like Madison was saying. I love all the jobs. Promises are one thing. You guys know the deal. Sometimes it's way better. Sometimes it's worse. Right. Mm-hmm. So, until the rubber hits the road, you don't really know. But the fact that, they've had multiple unsolicited offers on this property, but nothing talking about these kind of numbers. I mean, we're talking about a few $100 million each time. There was a real estate group here that was trying to get their hands on. I'm sure there's more, that we didn't see publicly. But seeing this stuff, like I said, just gets me so excited for what's coming to the area. Madison, this would I mean, think about it, right? So if you had this and the Tampa Stadium project going at the same time, on top of the gas Worx project over in East Ybor,
yeah,
right, on top of the redevelopment of Ybor Harbor, this whole area, y'all. And we've been slowing down in terms of our migration. We've talked about this, right? 3 years ago, what was it? 30,000 people moved. 2 years ago, we had 20,000. Last year was 10,000 people net migration. This year, I think we're going to be probably somewhere in that same area. We're going to be pretty close to flat, actually. What I mean by net migration is everybody always has people move away, and everybody always has people move in. And the net migration is the positive or the negative of that. We've been positive, obviously, since 2017. So a lot of things to overcome on proposals like this. There hasn't been any check stroke, no deeds have exchanged hands. There's a lot of things at play, but these are exciting developments. If you add on top of this all of the money that is going to the city already, the Gasworks district is in full swing, right?
Oh yeah.
The Waldorf Astoria, 400 Central down in St. Pete, St. Petersburg is becoming a playground, right?
It's so fun here. I love it.
It's great. And it's I don't call it Miami because it's not. They are two entirely different things. But there happens to be a lot of Miami money investing in Tampa Bay right now.
Yes.
These projects are funded by big hedge funds in Miami. So just keep that in mind as we look at this stuff. And again, pros and cons of everything, y'all. I'm not for displacing people out of their home. I'm never going to have an argument for those things. But I'm never going to be angry at anyone willing to invest in the cities that I live and improve them from infrastructure and quality of living. Those two things, as long as those come along with it, and the numbers make sense, I will always be a proponent because I've just seen again, growing up in Detroit, y'all, war zone. I didn't live there my entire life, but I lived there till we could get out. When we moved out of Detroit, I was in 3rd grade and we had been robbed 3 times in 6 months. Yeah. So we couldn't wait to get out of there, right? Now when we go back there, it's an entirely different city. And in St. Petersburg, while there are some rough areas, it is no, I always laugh when people are like, St. Petersburg, you don't have a clue. You have not been outside of your little bubble ever about what that looks like. So, we go down there all the time. There's very few places in big cities that I feel I'll take my kids to St. Pete 6 ways from Sunday, any day of the week, hang out. And yes, it's downtown. I'm not taking them to the hood. So anybody that's on here saying stuff like that, you're a fool. I have children. That's not what we do here. Right. Yeah. It is a great place to go hang out. I do not worry about who's out and around. Like, the city's great. The people are friendly. Like,
so friendly.
Dude, the West Coast of Florida is killer. And St. Pete it's one of those great cities. Shay, dude, I love that image, by the way. That profile image, legit. Trucker hat, the glasses, and his beard's way better than mine. I had to trim mine, dude. He was getting too gray. He says, if they take the notes from the Braves and the Battery, the Newsray Stadium, the surrounding is going to be. Dude, I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's the only loser there will be anybody getting out of a ball game and getting out of Dale Maybury. Because traffic's gonna suck, but that's like that at any stadium you're at, guys. Like there's no doubt. But that little corridor there, is right next to Malfunction Junction. They are expanding that. I don't know that this was in the calculations when they were going through that. So definitely a good point. Yeah, dude, that image is great. I didn't mention the other part of it, but the beard is great. Cool, I love that. But yeah. Madison, I'm with you. Huge fan of what's happening there. Love what's going on in the area. We got to keep rocking on that stuff too. So, speak of the devil. Talk about more and more developments. Now we're going to head up to the suburbs here. And y'all, forgot to mention, usually Stacy's here. She is out for this evening. She's hanging out with family. So we want to say hello to her and the squad. Hopefully everything's going great with those guys. And also, you got questions about Wesley Chapel, don't hesitate to reach out. Ashley will be joining us probably next week as well. She's getting the invite to come in and do some contributions. If you haven't met Ashley, go check out last week's video. We did a great property tour over in Connerton. She's amazing with her and Stacy. Those ladies did an excellent job. Cool. Let me pull up this article about the opening here, because we've discussed this, but we haven't come back to it since then. So we're going to jump on there now. All right. The new Target store opening in Wesley Chapel opens this month. Now, everybody's like, okay, it's a Target. Target, who cares, right? Who cares why it's a Target? I understand. Let's slow our roll. However, Target is opening like 5 of these stores in the country. One of them was in Phoenix. I can't remember the other where I pulled the article earlier, but I was just doing my homework on it. But this new Target here, the newest addition to the Grove, and if you guys aren't familiar with the Grove, you got Crate out there, all kinds of shopping. There's Best Buy, and a lot of the big box stores, but the Grove itself has all these little boutiques in these shipping containers. It's such a cool spot. From food, they do like concerts out there with families. There's a movie theater. It's all kinds of stuff. But these guys are building a mega Target out there. It's called Target XL. So the newest addition to the Grove, Wesley Chapel, will check in at 148,000 square feet, much larger than your typical Target. Wesley Chapel, almost 3 years to the day since the officials met with Pasco Planning about bringing Target to the Grove at Wesley Chapel. The doors of the massive store are ready to swing open on October 12th.
Mark your calendars.
That's right. Everybody's gonna be saying, and Madison, you may be too young, but if you're not, when I was younger, they used to have Kohl's was a really big thing, right?
Yes, I remember.
In Black Friday, they would have these commercials, and people would be standing at the glass doors and they'd be like, open, open, open. I remember that. Like, I guarantee you, if you're in Pasco and you're in Wesley Chapel on the 12th, that is exactly what this is going to look like.
For sure.
It's going to be wild, right? So it says on October 12th, the long-awaited Target on Oakley Boulevard will hold its grand opening. The newest addition to the shopping and grocery scene in Wesley Chapel will check in at 148,000 square feet, larger than typical Target. While the Super Target branding is no longer used by the Minneapolis retailer, the newer Target stores have updated modern designs and are roughly 15% larger than their typical store. To me, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but I know it's big. It will be Wesley Chapel's second Target, joining the original on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and County Line Road, which is in Tampa's first Super Target when it opened in 2021. So, I mean, this is a massive building, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
Like the size of this thing is just incredible when you look at it. The aerial view that I saw this morning was just nuts. And I know a lot of people love these types of things, right? Like shopping. When we talk to our clients, Madison, it's like, I need to be near Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, a Sprouts, which is a competitor of those. They don't know, so we always give them that insight. Costco and Target. Like if you don't have one, like at least two of those three, people are like, eh.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
I don't know if I can do it, man. Like, all right, yeah, I get it. I get it. Everybody's kind of got their thing, and I understand. And we talked before, you know, Kate, she goes up to Clearwater, which is the only Costco in Pinellas County is in Clearwater as of right. Oh man, they could open 3 here. I mean, we have the population for it.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
No way, right? But she drives 25 minutes up to Costco, and it's like she always makes comments about, like, we're about to be in season again, which means the snowbirds are starting to come down. As soon as the air gets crisp, we know what's happening next. The roads are about to get busy, and Costco's booming at 9 a.m. in the morning when they open, because that's when a lot of the retirees go there. But she likes to go in the afternoon because most people have already done their Costco shopping. That's a great one. But Target's another one that most people want to be by too. So that will open up. We'll get you guys some footage. Check it out. I'll make sure that I add that into a new Wesley Chapel video here shortly, so y'all can get your insights on that. Yeah. Just get a feel for what that looks. I'm not going to go up and down every aisle with time lapse, just so you know.
You'll be there forever.
Right?
I was going to say, I seen this today. It's the second largest Target in the country.
Yep.
That's
massive.
Crazy.
Right, massive. Carol says Oakley Boulevard is not ready for that Target. I drive by it every day. Yeah, you ain't wrong. You are not wrong. Oakley Boulevard is on the western border of Wesley Chapel, just west of 275, or just west of 75 there. It's not 275 yet. Just so y'all know, you can see it right as you're coming down the highway. The grove there, everything that's going on, and it'll be busy. That is for sure. There is no doubt about that. Love it. All right, we got another comment here too. Let me jump in on the comment. Let me pull this down. Cool. Jen says, and welcome, Jen. Good to see you. She says Tampa is on our radar to relocate. Our family and our family too. Are there suburbs with new homes close to Tampa aside from Wesley Chapel? Yes, but you're going to have to define what close means. And my recommendation for you is close in terms of drive time, not close in terms of mileage. Because mileage doesn't apply the same everywhere. And Jen, I have no idea where you're at, right? I know for us, when I was in Metro Detroit, I knew, if I was going to drive 30 miles, it'd take me approximately 30 minutes. If I'm going to drive through Tampa, 30 miles is going to take me an hour. Yes. All day, right? So like those things can be different. So, but yes, there are areas where there's new construction. I mean, they're doing spec new construction in South Tampa. They're doing spec new construction in St. Petersburg proper. There are definitely areas where you can do that. And make that work. So that is a possibility. Riverview and Brandon, just to the east of downtown Tampa. That's approximately 35 minutes drive time. Approximately. Some days it's going to be better. Some days it's going to be worse. They have new construction developments. If you're more looking for the master plan type of communities where they have the pools and the parks and, maybe the gyms and those types of things. So that is an option for you as well. And then as you head north of Carrollwood, you'll start to get some newer construction there. Definitely Odessa. Jen made another comment. So let's pull her on. She says commuting 20 to 30 minutes would be great. Jen, we would need to know where you're planning on commuting to. Because that matters a lot, right? What we always tell everybody, Madison, is right. Don't make cross town drives if you don't have to. Yeah. Those are the ones that'll just make you wish you didn't do it every day.
Tampa.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, let me pull up the map for Jen real quick. I know you've probably been doing some homework, and if you've been watching the channel, you probably have some stuff too. But let me pull up Google Maps for y'all real quick. Get in some traffic. Cool. And Jen, you obviously don't have to disclose your work address right now. But what I would say is, like, Tampa's not much different than other places that have 3.3 million people living in it, right? You're going to have places where it just absolutely is brutal to try to get to. And then you're going to have places where, as long as you know the little honey holes, you will, pretty much be on easy street for the most part. As we look at this, let me pull down the traffic specifically and get into traffic on this. What we meant by a crosstown drive is, we mentioned areas like Riverview and Brandon, which are over here on the east side of the city. But if you had to work on the northwest side or in the business park over by the ballpark or the airport, making this drive across town, you're going to curse my name.
Yeah, that will be very brutal.
Yeah. So don't do it. Don't do that. All right. Got it. She says, for sure will depend on where we land in Tampa for work. Yeah, we are still searching. Yeah. And I think ultimately that will help you guys make better quality decisions about your lifestyle and what that's going to look like. Because my recommendation, again, do not ever do crosstown drives if you don't have to. It's just so difficult. All right. If you end up in an area on the east side, then, I don't know if you've got a family or not, Jen, but if you're looking for quality schools, you can be looking at areas like Fishhawk, Riverview, Brandon, and to the south, Parish, which is excellent. They all have top rated schools. So those are communities you can look at on the east side. And if you're going to be in St. Petersburg, Parish is one of those great places to look if you guys are afraid of hurricanes or you just like to be a little bit further off the coast. You can definitely get new communities down in Parish. You sell a lot down there, so that's good. Like I said, in St. Pete, you can get one-off new construction. It's not going to fall in that median sales price around that 400 mark. You're going to be looking at typically more in the starting 750 kind of number. Typically, new construction in St. Pete for a 4-bedroom, two or 3 bath home, all block in a great area is going to cost you probably $8 on the low end. You can spend as much as you want, of course, but that's what you're looking at up there. And then as you head north through the area here, areas like Safety Harbor was just ranked the safest city in Florida. I meant to pull that article. I'll grab that here in a second, guys, because I have it, which is a great community. And then areas like West Chase, East Lake, Keystone, Cheval, Lutz, these are all excellent places to raise a family if you're on the west side. And then New Tampa, another great spot to look. There are great areas. Here's what I'll say. Jen, pull out your phone, right? Scan that code and schedule a time to meet with us. We are happy to jump on a call with you and your significant other and kind of do this, right? Walk you guys through the area, talk about what you're trying to accomplish and help point you in the right direction so you can start doing really qualified homework. That way, when you come into town, you can be really efficient with your time. And there's no obligation for us. We're just here to help. So if you got questions, please feel free. Okay. That's what we're here for. My phone number is on that screen, or you can just hit that QR code. That'll take you right to our website and get you what you're looking for. Awesome. Zach says, Cleveland, Ohio, 37 social. Zach, my man, we just sent you an email, I think. Get area consider moving if I'm going to relocate and open a new sales office that needs to be centrally located and travel to hospital and universities. Yeah, man. I mean, well, like if you don't have a whole lot of extra weight, and I don't mean in a negative, but like if you're low drag, right? No kids, like don't have those kind of responsibilities, dude. Living in the city, if you can, or living in St. Pete, that is a great spot to call home. They both have lots of access to the highways. They're both around hospitals and universities. So like, dude, look at downtown St. Pete or let me pull the map up a little bit more for you. Like I said, downtown St. Pete would be awesome. South Tampa's great. If you get into areas like West Tampa or the Riverwalk or areas like Tampa Heights, these places are booming, full of young working professionals, man. Like that's who lives there. So those are great spots to kind of engage in. But Zach, let me know if you got that email. I know I shot it to you. I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday, but you the man. Happy to make that connection. Okay, Jen said, yes, we'll be looking for great schools. We have 3 kiddos. This is very, you're welcome. You're welcome, Jen. There's a couple websites that I always recommend to people. One, I'm going to give you one right now. I'll pull it up so you can see it too. This is a great website to start with. It's called niche.com. And let me see. I got one that's already pulled up. You can come in here and look through schools or communities specifically. I have an account. I don't know why it's not logging me in. Look at for communities or schools. But what the niche site does is it really gives you some really cool things like here, public schools in Tampa as an example. So like it'll show you a rank of public schools in the cities you're looking at specifically. You know, let's say for an example that you got up in West Chase, right? You know, and you can look at the school specifically, or you can put in the city and then it'll just pull it up for you. So you can kind of see that for you, but it'll show you things from all the insights. It'll show you best schools. It'll show you areas like the diversity in the schools, I'm sorry, the community themselves. So you can see that as well. And it's just a really great website to look at specific things happening inside of the community. It's great. It is a wonderful resource, one of my favorite to use. So niche.com is a great place to start doing homework. That is attached to things like greatschools.org, which is another really good website. It's an aggregate. Great Schools is the same website that Zillow and Redfin pull from, I believe. Zillow for sure. I can't remember if Redfin does, but this is another place where you can kind of like start vetting out schools. But here's the only thing I always tell people: just keep in mind the fact that there are parents and even just regular citizens who can vote on these things and comment on them. So what I always tell people is when you're looking at a review site, look for patterns. That tends to be a very helpful way to look at, because like if you look at Yelp, you can go to any restaurant and somebody on there says they had the worst experience in the world and somebody else says they had the best. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm always trying to find out like what are we looking for the average? So just sharing that with you. Both of those are great. So niche.com, greatschools.org. There's publicschoolreview.com. There's a whole bunch that I use. When you email us, Jen, I'll get you that info. Okay. I'll get you that info. Must have missed your email. I'll set something up. Cool. Yeah. It might've gone to spam too. That happens as well, Zach. So shout out, hit me up again if you don't see it. Cause I did send it. I'm pretty sure I sent you a video. Cool. All right. Stockton says, hey guys, I know you're primarily focused on the Tampa area, but what do you think about Northport? By the way, the more I research, the more I'm loving the idea of finding a place in Parrish.
I love Parrish.
Yeah. I mean, it would depend on your lifestyle, man. Like the thing that I always say is like there's a home for everybody and there's an area for everybody. Right. Yeah. So like for us to just blindly say yes or no on a specific area, that's really us being unfair, unjust, and not being good advisors. So I just want to start with that. Okay. So before I say anything general to anybody, I just want you to know, like like I said, there are areas in Detroit that I would love to live in. There aren't places where I wouldn't go without 5 friends in an armored car. Right? So like, right, so you got to know these things about areas. So what I'll say is this: Northport is growing, it's developing, it's pretty close to the coast. It's a secondary market and the beaches aren't great. Mm-hmm. Okay. It tends to lean a little bit older. If that is something that is for you, excellent. If it's not, that's okay. Now, there are families who live in Northport. That's who they're trying to attract. But generally speaking, when we're talking about Sarasota County, we're older, right? So again, not a pro or con, just knowing the difference between the two. It's definitely going to be slower in terms of a lifestyle. That can be awesome for some people. I've got a really good video on Northport and the developments going on down there. And again, I don't think it is a nice area. In terms of like visually, it's beautiful. I mean, you're surrounded by a lot of nature there, which is great. You do have access to beaches, but again, it's just there's not enough going on for me and my family. You're going to have to drive 30 minutes regularly to go do things. Mm-hmm. Right. And even those things will typically be the secondary things, right? Like you're going to be an hour and a half away from Tampa. You're going to be an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 away from St. Pete, right? And Cape Coral, Fort Myers is not a big area either. So like, you know, Sarasota's got a lot going on for us. So you're only gonna be 30 minutes north of there. But like I said, I'm not negative on it. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. There are some great values down there in terms of real estate because they've taken it on the chin. Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton. The Sarasota, Bradenton, Northport Metro has been one of the hardest hit in terms of pricing. So there are some good opportunities there. Again, totally depends on your lifestyle. All right. If you're somebody that can go home, you don't have to go to work all over the place. Like the other thing, there's no real jobs around there. Right. So if you don't own a job or you're not retired, it's a tough spot. Right. That's a tough spot to live. But it's a great question, man. There are some good places down there. You know, you're close to Sky Ranch and some other stuff that is beautiful down there too. So look around, man. Parish is great. You know, we're high on that. Focused on education, focused on security, right? Having a safe, secure community, access and proximity. I mean, you're only 50 minutes to Tampa International Airport, 30 minutes to Sarasota Airport, 35 minutes to St. Pete Beach, 30 minutes to St. Pete. You can be to downtown Tampa in 45 or 50 minutes. So it gives you a lot of access. Just our perspective. I know I said a lot, but yeah, I'm trying to do my best in the little time we have. He says, I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan. They would have spring training facilities in North Park. Yeah, exactly. The stadium's right there, which is awesome. But I like Peric's proximity to everything that we love. Yeah. Those are always the trades, man. Like where do you need to be from a lifestyle perspective? And then also where are you headed with that too? The thing that we always share with people is remember, real estate is semi-permanent. Right. You hope that the piece of real estate never goes anywhere, but just in general, you know, it's hard to move. It's expensive to move if you make a mistake. And the one thing we love to do for our clients is make sure that does not happen. Very proud of that. In 13 years, I've never had a client have to move twice. And our goal is if you become our client, that you are not the first. So we'll keep those records intact, my man. We'll keep those records. He says, Juan, you still need to answer my question about the high schools that are best at football in the year. Okay, cool. I'll dig into that. Yeah. That high school football has not been on my radar, man. But my little guy's starting to come up in the world, so I'm gonna have to start paying attention too because I don't think the homeschool football team is gonna get him anywhere where he wants to be. Yeah. Well, he's able to plug in. He can go to Seminole right now and plug in, and Indian Rocks. Christian Academy. So like we can do that. But yeah, if we're going to get into some serious football playing, we're going to have to look outside of those four walls there. But we'll see. Great question, Stockton. Cool. Well, Madison, do you have anything else on the list tonight?
No, just the development in St. Pete. That was on my list.
Yeah, that was awesome. So y'all, lots of stuff happening in the area. If you got questions, you want to talk to this young lady, reach out. All right. Whether you're watching this later, shoot me a comment. Say, hey, want to connect me to Madison? I'm happy to do that. Okay. If you pull out your phone and hit that QR code up in the top left corner, I think that's how you guys are looking at it. That'll literally take you to our website. It'll just ask you just a few short questions. And then behind that, it will take you to my calendar where you can schedule a consultation to meet with or strategy session to meet with Madison and myself. Or if you guys are thinking Wesley Chapel specifically and you want to talk to Stacy or Ashley, just put their names in there and we'll pop on, help you guys build out a plan that can help you really focus in on what you're trying to accomplish if you're considering moving to the area. And this is that time of the year where we start ramping up again. September is historically slow. Well, it has been, but this past month, these ladies went out and put 9 families in homes. So they were busy, and they're already back at it again for October. So like, I'm super excited to see what comes. And y'all, if you have any questions about relocating the area, we'd love to be your real estate team of choice. We hope you guys have an incredible week. And as always, and until next time, go out
and live that Tampa life. Good night, guys.